everybody, taking a look at the game Biblios Quill and Parchment. Now in this game, you're going to be in a monastery, and the object of the game is to try to score the most amount of points by performing a variety of tasks. And this is going to be a roll and write game. So let's take a look at it. Okay, everybody, here we go. We got two boards here. You've got your main board. This is double-sided. I'm going to be doing the A side. And right over here is going to be the chapel area. Now, on the board, there's going to be a symbol, and you're going to go ahead and write your symbol over here on the bottom part of this area, and you're going to be using this symbol to be trying to score points for the chapel. So there's several different ways that you're going to be able to score points in this game. One of them is going to be by copying books, and there's 5 different types of books here. We've got the religion book, we've got the philosophy book, the astronomy book, the herbals book, the bestiary book, and you're going to be able to copy these books as they go along. Now, if you end up not getting past the negative point value, you're going to end up just scoring that amount of points negatively. Right over here is the influence area, and you're going to be using influence to try to bid for dice in the second phase of the game, which is going to be involved in the chapel. Influence dice look like this. Whatever these you keep, you're going to go ahead and just add that number to these squares over here. Right over here is the travel area, and in this area, you're going to have a monk that's going to be basically traveling to different cities and towns, trying to find little books, and there's different symbols on this board here. On these spaces, there's different there's different books here, like this is the philosophy book, which is this one. So anytime you reach these colors, you're going to simply mark off that book. You also got a question mark over here, and this is going to allow you to roll a book die and then earn its value, and you'll just mark it off that way. You also have the cities over here, and you're going to circle these anytime you reach those, and these are going to be used to score points later on. And you can choose two paths. You can choose to go this way like this, or you can choose to go this way like over this. Right over here is the cross area, and you're going to score points for this anytime you have any dice that you can't use. And right over here is the chapel area. This is going to be used in the second phase of the game, the second half of the game, but you're also going to be using this anytime you roll a chapel on the die and keep it. You're going to go ahead and mark your way up, and I'll talk a little bit about how that works later. So in the very beginning, everybody is going to receive 3 book dice, 2 influence die, and then 1 travel die, and then what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and roll them. And you're going to have 3 choices. You're going to be able to just simply keep the rolls that you have. You'll be able to re-roll all of the dice up a total of 2 times, or you'll be able to just pick 1 die and then re-roll that. And you're going to be using hand signals in this game in order to tell everybody what you're planning to do. But essentially, that's the way you're going to roll the dice. And any dice you end up keeping, you're going to go ahead and mark off on this board. So the first part of the game you're going to do for 4 days, which is mainly going to be working in this area here, and then in the chapel. And in the second half of the game, you're going to be mainly working with these dice and with these areas over here and bidding. So let's say on our turn, these are the dice that we decided to keep, and now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and simultaneously start marking off the dice. We got an astronomy die over here, so we're just going to go ahead and mark this off like so. We've got 2 herbal books over here, so we're going to go ahead and mark off 2 of those. Right here we have 8 influence points, so we're going to go ahead and write the number 8 right here in the first block, and throughout the game you're just simply going to follow these arrows, and what you're going to do is after you get to the second block, you're going to go ahead and total it up, go to the third, total it up, etc. And then we're going to go over here to the travelers, and we've got 3 travelers, so we're going to go ahead and mark 1, and then 2, and then 3. So I landed on an astronomy book, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and mark off an astronomy book on my chart. So let's go ahead and say on the second turn, this is what we got. We've got 2 herbal books over here, so once again we're going to go ahead and mark these off. Right here we have a religion book, so we're going to go ahead and mark off that. We've got 8 influence points, so we're going to go ahead and put that there, and then we will total them up right here for 16. And let's just say for the religion die, this is what we ended up with. This is going to allow us to move 1. But then we have a star over here, and the star basically represents that we'll be able to go ahead and mark off any one of the books that we want to. So let's just say I decide I'm going to mark off the red book over here. What I'll then do is I'm going to go ahead and mark off this star, so the next time I end up rolling something like that with a star, I won't be able to select that book again for that particular die. Now when you get to the cross over here, you're going to be marking off the cross, i.e. the good deeds, if you ever end up with a die that you can't use. So for example, if you've ended up filling up all of these spots over here and gotten the bonus, and you ended up getting a die, you'd be able to go ahead and place a marking over here on the cross. And the same would go if you ended up completing your path. One of the options you could do is you could go ahead and mark off a cross like so. Now the way the chapel works is like this. Let's just say I ended up rolling 2 chapels and my opponent ended up rolling 1 chapel. The person that is furthest away from the altar, which is over here, is going to get to go first, and they're going to go ahead and mark how many chapels they got in this box. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to be going over to the furthest open left space that is next. So let's just say the square was first. He's going to go ahead and put his over here like so, and then he's also going to put another one over here since he ended up scoring 2 of these chapels. Let's say the triangle scored 1. He's going to go ahead and place a triangle over here. And let's just say on another turn, let's just say the triangle ended up getting 2 chapels and the square did not get any. Since the square didn't get any, he won't put any, but then the triangle can go like this 1, and then he will go 2 since this is the next open space over there to the left. And the way the scoring is going to work is you're going to look at your symbol that is highest up on the altar. So right now, the square would get 1 point, and the triangle would also get 1 point. Now the dice over here are value dice, and these are going to be determining how much the books are going to be worth. So you have a die for each of these. This is the embellishment die. Now in the second round, you're going to be having an opportunity to possibly roll this, and it's going to have different symbols. It's got a plus and a minus, 2 pluses, and then it also has a plus symbol. What this is going to allow you to do, it's going to allow you to change the value of any one of these dice, or 2 of them if there happen to be 2 symbols. So if I happen to roll, say that, I could say, okay, well, I'm going to add a value to this, I'll make it 3. I'm going to subtract the value from this, which is going to go ahead and make it 2. So in the second phase of the game, you're going to be over here in the chapel area. And what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and fill up all of these slots. There's 4 different ones. So you get 2 of the book dice and then 1 of the traveler dice. And you're going to go ahead and roll them, and then you're just going to go ahead and place them on there. And so there's going to be an ability that you're going to get for each of these sections. This one, you're going to go ahead and get access to the embellishment die over here. With this one, this is going to allow you to, if you end up getting this, is going to give you you'll end up going to the chapel, and this is going to give you a free movement over there. This one right here will give you a free movement on the traveler part of the board. And then this one's going to allow you to change the plans, which basically means you can re-roll one of the book dice taken 1 time and then use the new result if you would like to. What you're going to do in this case is you're going to go ahead and use your influence points to bid, and whoever gets the higher bid is going to get to choose those dice in the chapel first. So right now I've got 30 influence points. Let's just say I decide I'm going to go ahead and bid 8. Everybody's going to hide what their bid is, and then they're going to go ahead and reveal them. Let's just say I happen to win the bid with my 8. So what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and subtract that, and I'll have 22 influence points to use, and then I'm going to go ahead and choose the dice that I want. So let's just say the triangle decides he's going to choose this first, and let's just say the square decides he's going to go ahead and choose these. So now we're going to go ahead and resolve the dice as we did before. For me, let's just say I decide I'm going to go ahead and add 2 to the green, since I have a lot of green, and so I'm going to go ahead and make this 4. So after everybody has taken their dice, you'll re-roll the dice and put them back on their spaces. You'll go ahead and do this a total of 4 times, and then that will end the game. Okay, so here's how scoring works. The first thing you're going to go ahead and do is score all of your book bonuses. Now, I've gone ahead and reached the top of this, and I've received the first book bonus, which is 5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write a 5 over here. The second part is going to be the travelers. Now, you're going to just count the amount of cities that you've reached. I've got 1 city here, I've got 1 city here, so that's going to be 5 points over here. Right over here, this is going to be the influence, and what you're going to do is you're going to take what you earned in influence and divide it by 4 and round down. So I've got 3 influence here. For the crosshair, you're going to go ahead and score 2 points for each part that is marked in the piety circle. And for the cross, you're going to score 2 points for each mark that you have in the cross. Then you're going to multiply it by 2, so I'll have 4 points there. This right over here is going to count your chapel points. So let's just say I happen to be the triangle. I've reached over here, so on the chapel, I've reached the question mark spot over there, so I'm going to get 3 points. The square is going to get 1 point because that was the highest he reached closest to the altar. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and count up my book points. So now the way this is going to work is I'm going to look at the value dice to determine how many. I'll just put them over here so you can see them. So whoever has the most amount of books in each section is going to start. So in the red section, I happen to have 4 books. Let's say I happen to have the most amount of red books. I'm going to go ahead and take this value and multiply it by 3. So that's going to give me 6 points. Right over here, I've managed to complete all of these books, and I've also got the higher value. So that's going to be worth 4 points. Let's just say I happen to win that. I'll multiply that by 3, and that'll give me 12. Now, if it turns out that there is a tie for this, the one that ends up having the first bonus here is going to end up with the most books. If there happens to be a tie, like say someone has 3 grays and another person has 3 grays, you're going to go ahead and look at the chapel board and see who has the highest amount of chapel points to break the tie. So let's say I happen to not win this. I happen to be second place. What I'm going to do in this case, I'm going to multiply it by 2. So I'll have 4 points there. Let's say the same is true for that. I got second place for that, so I'll end up having 6 points there. And then let's say I happen to win the blue as well, so that'll give me another 12 points. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add all these up. That's 24, 30, 40 points. And then I'm going to add all these up and then place the total there. So 43, 47, 50, 60 points. So then after that, you're going to go ahead and total up all of your points. And whoever has the most amount of points over here is going to win. And that, folks, is Biblios Quill and Parchment. So my final thoughts on Biblios Quill and Parchment. Well, when I first got this game, I thought this game was going to be a little bit challenging to learn, but it wasn't. There are a lot of different options you have in this game as far as what you want to do with the dice when you roll them. There are a lot of different ways that you can score in this game. I really like the theme. The theme of a monastic scribe copying books and things like that is a pretty cool idea. You've got a lot of different options as to what you can do. You've got a lot of different ways you can score. You've got books, you've got traveling, you've got influence points, you've got the chapel. Then it also has 2 different types of games in here where you're going to be basically rolling dice in one phase. And in the next section of the game, you're going to be bidding on dice. So yeah, all in all, this is a very cool game. It plays pretty quick. I think that anybody who is a fan of quick roll and write games is going to enjoy this one. I think this was a really well-made game. The components are really nice, nice dice. So yeah, I would recommend it. All right, guys, that's my review of Biblios Quill and Parchment. We'll catch you later. Keep on gaming. Ways are going to be able to score points in this game. One of them is going to be by copying books, and there's 5 different types of books here.